Meghan Markle is once again using children in order to promote herself and claim that she is the ultimate victim of online bullying. This came out as Meghan proudly announced, although Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates have been quite silent on this issue, a partnership between them and Archwell Foundation for Girls Inc. and Half the Story to come together to help young women navigate the internet. Because, of course, censorship is what Meghan is all about. And if she can utilize children and the actual real experiences that they have on social media in order to protect herself, that is, of course, what she will do. And this whole thing just reeks to high heaven. You have a woman who has been accused multiple times of being a bully on two continents, claiming that once again, she is a victim of online bullying. I'm sorry, Meghan Markle. I just don't buy it. I just don't think you like the criticism you receive on social media, which I feel like is very, very warranted, by the way. And when I see this whole promotional thing and really the lack of response from Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates, I'm sitting here wondering as well, is like, did they know you were doing this PR blitz for this? I mean, Meghan Markle brought her own videographer and personal photographer to get pictures with other people's children. But heaven forbid you get a picture of her own. That reeks of hypocrisy and a double standard that Meghan just cannot ignore. And once again, she is doing the cosplay royal routine. And I feel like, as well, the initial thought I had for this video is, she cares so much about what's happening with young girls. Does she care at all what might happen to her son? I don't think so. We hardly hear anything about Archie. It's all about Lilibet and Lily. So we are going to explore this rather complex topic today because there's multiple things to discuss. Meghan Markle's, obviously continual deluded victim narrative. We have utilizing children once again to promote herself. Her still campaign for basically online censorship and the seemingly silence from Meghan Markle's alleged partners on this issue. I mean, I think they are partners, but I feel like these women more wanted to maybe silent partners, whereas Meghan wants to scream at from a bullhorn. So many things to discuss. So we are going to get into this. If you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, hello, my name is Brittany, and I provide compelling royal commentary. So if you guys want to hit that subscribe button, I would absolutely love it. I would love and adore to have you back. We have so much fun here exploring so many things about royals. We do also have on Saturday morning a live stream. So if you guys have any questions or anything, we do it for about 2 hours starting at 10 a.m. And I also wanted to give a shout out today to Ana Lucia Diamonds. I changed out my jewelry, which I like to do from time to time, because these are lab created diamonds and they are absolutely stunning, gorgeous, and amazing. Forgive my ugly nails there. And I love this tennis bracelet. And I added my charm bracelet today from them, which has a little diamond in it. This is a diamond girl. And I don't always wear it because sometimes when I'm filming, it clinks on the desk and I don't want the sound to. I have to think about sound all the time, guys. I know it's kind of a weird thing most people don't have to think about. And I also changed out my studs for these lovely earrings. Was like putting this on today. I was like, oh, I feel so fancy and gorgeous. So if you guys are interested in any of that, these are beautiful pieces. You get a great piece of jewelry for a great price. If you guys want to check out the link up above, that would be fantastic. And if you use code and if you use code ROYAL20, you shall save 20%. And I know it is just October 11th, but guys, Christmas is coming before we know it. So if you have a wish list for anything, something you would like your spouse or partner or family member to get you, feel free to peruse their site and find things that you might really want for Christmas as well, or maybe just a gift for yourself. It's always nice to get a gift for yourself as well. So guys, again, thank you so much for checking them out. Again, use code ROYAL20 to save 20%. Okay. So then when this story initially came out, I was like, oh gosh. Well, number one, actually, Meghan didn't look half bad in the outfit she chose. And I'm like, wow, that's like rarely ever happens. Because usually she's a hot mess. So here we go, Meghan. And I believe this is probably the founder, or at least right now the director of Girls Inc. And then, of course, the founder and executive director of hashtag Half the Story. And Meghan, again, doesn't look half bad here, but of course, this had to come out right after Catherine made her first public appearance at a joint engagement with her husband in about a year. So, of course, Meghan Markle has to drop something the next day. Now, I think this coordinates with some sort of random holiday because, there's like a billion holidays now for like every little thing. So, obviously, that came into effect as well. But as I was looking at this initially, like my first initial thought is Meghan always talks about girls and women. She always talks about them. And you get this sense, and this is just from a PR thing. And I just want to start off here because I just want to get this off my chest because I have been thinking about this for quite a while. When it comes to your public image, what you say and what you don't say matters. And Megan has been really hardcore on just supporting women initiatives, just supporting women businesses, just supporting women's charities. Like she has been so hyper focused on that and talking about how, oh, Lily's found her voice, all these sorts of things and talking about Lily all the time. And I just can't help but think, and again, this is a public relations issue, I think, for Meghan Markle that she needs to address is you don't get the sense she cares that much about her son or the plight of young boys and men, which I feel like is almost worse right now than it is for young women because school is basically formed around how young girls, especially, learn. And it's harder for boys in the classroom. Boys tend to be a little bit more troublesome in the classroom because they're naturally more boisterous and girls tend to be more quiet. And so I feel like there is sort of an attack going on against the boys. Women and girls are pretty much just fine except for in certain instances that we won't go into. But I feel like Megan just seems to so focus on women, you really get the sense that either men's issues don't matter to her at all, or she doesn't seem to talk or engage about Archie all that much. And I'm like, does she care? And I'm sure she does. That's not what I'm saying. But I think definitely within the Sussex household, especially with Meghan Markle, Archie definitely takes a second spot to Lily. I would bet you 100% Archie is second tier to Lily. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but I get the sense that she's the favorite and Archie is not. And I don't know that for sure. But again, Megan's public image has been very, very much focused on women and girls. And yes, I know women tend to focus on women, and that's just fine. But she is so hyper focused that you really just get the sense that, like, she cares if Lily has her voice. Does she care if Archie has his voice? I don't know. I don't know. And this is a problem with public image and public relations. And if she has issues when he gets older, I mean, I would not be surprised if one day Archie comes out and goes, I knew for sure throughout my entire childhood that Lily was the golden child and I was second tier. Yeah. I mean, it's just hard to ignore that. And of course, that dynamic happens in so many families. This is not something that any family is really immune from. This happens in, let's say, Sweden. There's been so much talk that really Carl Gustav really does prefer his son to his daughters. Not that he doesn't love his daughters, but he definitely seems to a preference to his son over his daughters. He definitely has made that clear that he would prefer at the end of the day for his son to still have the title of crown prince instead of his oldest child, which is his daughter. So it does happen within families and it happens within royal families 100%. But I feel like Meghan is kind of setting herself up for failure here because she does this over and over and over again to such an extent that you really just get the sense that she doesn't care all that much about Archie or his plights and the things that boys and men go through. Again, that's just what I'm reading to it, but that's from an outsider seeing how she acts and seeing what things tend to motivate her. And we see as well her emasculating her husband. So it's very much Meghan rules the household. That was even in a People magazine article. It's Meghan's roof and Meghan's rules, 150%. And so obviously Harry and Archie are second tier there. And again, she sort of kind of reinforces all that notion. She sort of emasculates her husband. So it's hard to see in some ways her engaging all that much with her son. It's just, again, it's something that Meghan Markle needs to, I think, consider in terms of her public image, that she needs to at least seem something as engaged as her son. But it's hard because she only does so much. We don't ever see them with their kids. And it's just, again, the disconnect between Harry and Meghan, their public relations is a disaster zone. It's an absolute disaster zone because they proclaim all the time, oh, we need to protect our kids. We need to protect our kids. We need to protect our kids. But if these girls all want to hang out and get a picture with me and so I can share it online, let's do that. Let's do that. We got more here. Look, all these girls, look, I'm right here. I'm hanging out with all these girls, getting all these girls pictures. Obviously, their parents sign releases, but it's very frustrating, I feel like. Meghan is completely and utterly willing to use somebody else's children, but never willing to share her own. And I get it. She's allowed to have and keep her kids' privacy. But how she goes about things is just so hypocritical. Because again, she's fully willing to exploit these children, but not willing to have anybody have a picture of her own. And I feel like if you hold true to your own standard, You should not have to utilize children in order to soften your public image. And that is 100% what she is doing here. 100%. She is utilizing children in order to soften her public image. I mean, look at here. She's not even really engaging with the children. And also, you notice, by the way, and I noticed this earlier too, no engagement ring, guys, just the eternity band and the wedding ring. And that's it. No engagement ring, guys. Engagement ring is gone. Why are these girls, it's too dangerous to bring her big old engagement ring there? Because, she couldn't bring it to South Africa. Too dangerous. Too dangerous. But these girls are here in order to promote this thing, but really to, again, soften Meghan Markle's image because she's been called a bully. And so if she can get a child to hug her, then maybe she can, again, make herself look better. And it's just hard to tell how much of this is actually real or forced because I don't think she actually looks that engaged with any of this. But that's not why she's there. She's there to promote and protect Meghan Markle. And we'll get into why she's doing that. But what I also want to point out here is that she goes to these things and insists that a photographer goes with her, the same guy that accompanied them to Colombia, so she can get these ridiculous pictures, which Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates are not doing. Why? Because this is what royals do. Again, she is cosplaying royalty. And this doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, I don't understand how these parents aren't incensed that a glorified celebrity who is so deluded about her own experiences in the public eye that she thinks somehow she should be the upper echelon and nobody should criticize her ever. That's essentially what she's frustrated about, is that she gets criticism and she says it's bullying to sort of protect herself from her own behavior. But she's there hanging out with these kids and like trying to share them online. It's like, why couldn't she bring her daughter? That would make more sense. Again, I don't think there's that much connection here. It's just sort of ridiculous. And it's just very aggravating that Meghan does these kind of things. And of course, normal celebrities don't. Royals can do this in part because they are promoting a charity that they aren't making any money from. And we know Meghan's not probably trying to make any money off of this. What she's trying to do is both build clout and also trying to salvage her dismal reputation by claiming, that she is one of the most bullied people online. Give me an ever-loving break, Meghan Markle. Yes, you get criticized for your deplorable behavior over the years. I'm so sorry. And your horrendous fashion sense at times. I think some of that criticism is definitely warranted. It's not bullying, it's criticism. There's a difference. There is an absolute difference because what I see when it comes to especially the Sussex squad is they will sometimes attack your family, attack your figure. They'll attack so many things that have nothing to do with the argument you're making about Meghan Markle. They just call you a name and then block you if you try to respond on Twitter, which I find so annoying. It's like, well, if you say something terrible and I'm trying to respond and explain something and you've already blocked me, it's like, you're a coward, number one. And number two, it's like, maybe you could have some greater context and it might help you a bit, But Meghan Markle, again, doesn't really care about that thing because it's not why she's there. She's there, again, to protect and promote herself, and that's it. Everything else in regards to this, she doesn't care about. She doesn't care about. She is just there in an effort to try to salvage what she can of her public image. So let's see. Oh, and there's a video here. A video. Incredibly contrived, by the way. And again, I said earlier, and I keep getting off on different tracks. What I want to say when it comes to actual royals, again, they represent the government, they represent the people. So when they engage in things like this, everybody has the understanding. And there are also people who are able to offer insights and support and those sorts of things and able to enact large scale changes. Meghan Markle can't do any of that unless I guess her new royalty or people overlords who can actually give her some power are Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates, because Meghan Markle does not have that. Again, we talk about Meghan Markle because she is an epic train wreck and devolving, not because anybody actually believes or is going to do something in the government based on what Meghan Markle says. So again, when royals do this, it is very different because going out and doing engagements is their job. This is not Meghan Markle's job. It's a sideshow piece, and she needs to actually work. I don't understand her just visceral reaction to the concept of you need to work to make money. This is not going to make you any money. And so you can't complain at some point that you're broke when you spent all your time doing these kind of things. And instead of actually focusing on your business is a train wreck. You're going to miss Christmas. But no, you need to do this. No, no, you need to work. You know how Melinda Gates and Oprah Winfrey can be philanthropists and give a lot of money to an organization like this? In Melinda's case, she married her money. In Oprah Winfrey's case, she made her money. So they can give upwards of millions, if not potentially over $1 billion, as we'll see with Melinda Gates. Meghan Markle has zero of that capital. Zero. She can't even help any of these girls because she's only interested in helping herself and hearing herself talk at the end of the day. So, how can she help anything? The answer is she can't. So, let's watch some of this. Okay. And I'm just going to mute part of it just because there might be copyright with the song. So, get a look around. So, got all this set up here. And so, again, exploiting children. Isn't that classy? Isn't that classy? But no, 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 no. The media will crop out an entire picture of Archie, apparently, for People magazine, or Backrod did, or someone did. I don't know who did. But you are perfectly okay exploiting these children. Again, the double standard Meghan Markle seems to ignore is just sort of despicable, in my opinion, because she is exploiting these children to promote herself. And yes, the parents are allowing that to happen, but Meghan Markle also looks like sort of the terrible one for doing it. Of course, the hugs, we have to do the hugs because she has to look like she cares. And she forces caring by forcing intimate contact, basically trying to hug and clench and cling to people really weirdly. We saw this, of course, with her friend at the recent Children's Hospital LA event, or Los Angeles Children's Hospital. I can't remember. I get them inversed. But like, her weird, bizarre clinging to her friend is just strange. And she does that to make it look like she's more friendly than she is. She does this to mimic warmth instead of actually being warm. And again, I feel like forcing children to hug or something. It's just weird. Okay, so this is the one time she actually speaks a bit. So hold on. You or is that me? It's you. Of course, Megan loves it because it's about her. It's about her, right? She's not connecting with any of these kids. Oh, it's about me. It's me. Oh my goodness. I know that happens with royals that people draw something, but I feel like Catherine's so much better with children than Meghan Markle is. So again, I don't feel like she's connected with any of these kids at all. And so again, we had to talk. And this is, I think, the setting where Megan said, "Oh, I'm one of the most bullied people online." That's a little violin. From my $14 million mansion, people say mean things about me sometimes, and I don't like it because it's not the vision she wants for herself. Again, she has this deluded, glorified vision of the humanitarian that she is, and she's not. Of course, we got to get her posing because that's important. Again, don't get a lot of warmth from Megan here. And again, all the children. That poor child. Why is she in this video? Why is she in this video? I don't understand. And so, of course, it talks about how they're celebrating International Day of the Girl. Because again, boys don't matter in Megan's world. Only the girls do. She only invests in female led businesses. She only really cares about female led initiatives, all these sorts of things. Boys can just, float off into infinity. She doesn't care. And she visited Girls Inc. of Greater Santa Barbara to engage with young girls about their experiences growing up in the digital age. This visit coincided with the announcement of contributions from the Archwell Foundation, Pivotal Ventures, and the Oprah Winfrey Charitable Foundation to support a partnership between Girls Inc. and Half the Story aimed at delivering essential digital wellness programs to girls in underserved communities across the country. Now, I actually had a hard time finding anything about this from Pivotal or Half the Story. And in fact, I will show you guys a video where Half the Story completely cropped out Meghan Markle from this event. And she wasn't even there. I mean, they didn't mention Oprah Winfrey or Melinda Gates either, but you just get the sense that although they participated in this, it's Meghan's really island promoting this as sort of her project, and everybody else who's part of it is sort of there, but they're more like they're kind of boating over to the island and then returning, boating over to the island and returning, because they don't want to associate that closely with her because she's a hot mess and she brings just toxicity to the space. And of course, she'll claim, oh, it's bullying. But no, you're utilizing children in order to help promote your narrative, which is internet censorship, because you don't like negative or what you call misinformation stuff on the internet. Of course, what you would consider misinformation is allegations of bullying. So she wants to silence the victims. She wants to silence a dissenting narrative from the glorious vision that she's created for herself. The thing that Meghan Markle has the hardest time with, that her time as a royal sometime hit reality, and reality wasn't so pretty. Because, oh, people didn't believe everything you said. I'm sorry, Meghan Markle. I do not believe in the slightest that your little note changed the Procter & Gamble soap campaign. I think that is diluted nonsense. I would believe you are a child who still believes in Santa Claus. If you actually believed as an 11-year-old, who no one knew, by the way, who contributed to one news story that probably had zero impact on anything, that somehow you yourself, which she has claimed, she has not claimed she was part of a broader campaign. She has always claimed she was solely responsible for the change of a multi-million-dollar ad campaign. I will tell you right now, there are millions of dollars spent creating an ad campaign. There is no way one single complaint is going to change that. Unless it comes from Chelsea Clinton or Hillary Clinton at the time, because it was the 90s, nothing is going to change. Why? Because they spent millions of dollars and one kid has an issue. They don't care if one kid has an issue, but if they got hundreds, if not thousands of complaints, maybe tens of thousands of complaints, oh yeah, they would probably change it, which is, I think, exactly what happened. She was just one small voice in a broader narrative, because Procter & Gamble never even said that, oh yeah, it was Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, oh, that child, we were so impressed. No, they didn't say that. They've never said that. They've never even confirmed that that was the case. Probably because they don't even care, because they don't remember, because nobody wrote it down. They were just like, yeah, there was a big backlash, so we changed things. That's it. That's it. So again, through this new initiative, Girls Inc. and Half the Story will equip girls with the essential tools to thrive in a digital landscape while fostering healthy relationships with social media. Strength-based program will tackle key issues such as body image, friendships, healthy digital habits, and safety from sexual predators. It will focus on online safety education, responsible social media engagement, and mental health support, empowering girls to navigate their environments with confidence and resilience. Through their work with the Archwell Foundation, which basically is a glorified vanity project, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are dedicated to uplifting girls globally, not boys, mind you, just girls. Boys can flit off into infinity, they don't care. And ensuring their safety and wellness in online spaces. Harry, have some dignity here. Your wife is basically telling people only girls matter. Come on. Speak up for your son once in a while. And ensuring their safety and wellness in online spaces. As they pursue digital well-being for all, they will continue to listen to young people, providing them with the resources they need to flourish. Okay, they don't care about digital well-being for all, but only for me. They don't care about all. They care about me. That's all they care about. I mean, they're misinformation. I posit. The internet, yes, you should, of course, tackle, obviously, despicable images, things that glorify violence or something. You know, there's some things that definitely should be removed from the internet for the safety of all mankind. And there are those things on there. But that's not what Harry and Meghan are talking about. They're only talking about well-being for themselves. They want censorship. Not to mention the fact, I get this sense here, and this has been a criticism of the Parents Network, is I feel like even though they are parents, they care very little about the parents engaging on this topic. Because guess what? Yes, something like this can help girls, but the greatest support, the greatest influence, the greatest protection they'll get is in their home. If their parents are not engaged on this topic, nothing that's said at this initiative will really help them all that much, I think, at the end of the day. What really matters is what happens in the home. And again, Harry and Meghan, I don't feel like cares all that much about what happens in the home. But let's get to the Vanity Fair story, because that's where Meghan, she's still a victim, guys. She might live in a $14 million mansion, be technically a duchess, but no, she's still the ultimate victim. So, of course, Vanity Fair covered part of this. And it said up here, we did an activity where we talked about a bunch of scenarios, and Meghan talked about being one of the most bullied people in the world. May tells Vanity Fair. We had the girls wave these little emoji signs and talk about how each one of these scenarios would have impacted them emotionally. Okay, Megan, you are not the most bullied person online. You're just not. You're criticized a lot. And yes, some of it delves into the realm of bullying. I 100% agree. However, what I do is I criticize you for your actions, your wardrobe, your choices, your obvious disdain and deplorable behavior of your family, your husband's family, and your staff members. That is what people are calling you out for. They're calling you out for lying, which you have done. She has 100% lied multiple times about stupid things, like saying the Archbishop of Canterbury married us a couple of days before our wedding. The Archbishop is like, "No, I had a meeting with them. I did not marry them," because that actually would damage him because it's against kind of church protocol for him to do that. And of course, Archie's skin color. Oh, it was his skin color. That's why they get him a title. No, it was letters of patent, which you admitted later in the interview because you lied. It was so interesting in the Oprah Winfrey interview, and I'd love to watch the full thing again, but it's really hard to find. But just how she carefully chose her words so that Oprah would make all these inferences. I mean, sometimes she was explicit, but she would make all these inferences too, and Oprah Winfrey would go, "Oh," and say the logical conclusion thing that Megan was like, "Oh, if I don't say that, then I'm not technically lying." It's like you were kind of lying. You were misleading people purposely. It's called lying. And so she has been called out for this multiple times. And criticizing her for having a loose association with the truth is not bullying, it's called holding you to account. And that's what you don't like. You don't like accountability. You don't like working. You don't seem to like really anything except for people mindlessly being devoted to you and not, again, disrupting the Instagram visual she has of herself. Again, I will say time and time again, I feel like Megan showed so much of her true colors in that documentary when she talked about how she was really interested in Harry's Instagram because, oh, it showed me who Harry truly is. And I'm like, what planet are you living on? Instagram is fake. It's fake. We all know it's fake. We all only show our best faces on social media. So, what are you talking about? That was the vision that Harry had for himself, not the real Harry. It could tell you a piece of it, but not who he truly is. She said it told them who he truly is. But no, it was his shadow self that he was showing, and that's what she was picking up on, and that's what she manipulated him with. Is this sort of venerated image he had of himself, not his actual reality. And because of that, now he is stuck, and I think in a relationship that's probably going to end towards Splitsville at some point, and he's lost his friends, like decades long friendships. His family relationships will never ever recover because of his wife. Because of his wife, his family relationships will never ever ever recover. And that's on him, but that's because he got with her. And to criticize her for that is 100%, I think, correct. Now, I feel like the Markle case is a little bit more hinky because I don't always believe everything on the Markle side, but especially when it comes to the royal family, she treated them horrendously. And then she complained that they treated her awfully, even though she was the one who didn't want to listen when somebody tried to give her support. She actively declined it sometimes. And she just did not seem to care about any of the protocols. She would complain about everything. And then, of course, bullying the staff. Meghan has allegedly bullied staff on 2 continents, and she's trying to deflect that by claiming she is the ultimate bullying victim. No, Meghan Markle, you are not. And like, I hate to say it, but you are not. I'm sure there is somebody out there who is vastly more bullied than you are. And you obviously, as well, don't seem to care about what happens to your staff. You are perfectly willing to, allegedly, according to reports, in my opinion, treat them horrendously when it suits you and you don't care. And because of that, you have had complaints now on multiple continents for bad behavior. And you refuse to take accountability for anything. If you can't take accountability, you can't learn, you can't grow. So Meghan Markle is stuck at 15. I truly believe she has a emotional intelligence level of a middle school girl. So she probably does relate to a lot of these girls in a lot of different ways because she hasn't really ever aged beyond that. And a lot of her fans are this similar in many ways. I think they're often a lot similar. They've never grown past that. And so that's why they can't even argue well on social media because they can only do sort of the things middle school girls do rather than actually having a healthy debate. And so apparently, when it came to social media U curriculum, Megan helped test that out last week with middle school kids. And May says, we really wanted to make sure that the teens at the half story were able to get their input on the type of experience that we would create. Ultimately, we thought best way to do it was to create a space of vulnerability. With Stephanie and Megan, we talked about what it really means to grow up in the digital age. Oh, so a wealthy duchess, a doctor, and a Larissa. So you guys want all these girls to be vulnerable and tell you these most terrible stories. I'm just sorry. I kind of despise kind of things like this. Yes, I feel like it can help some people, but I really feel like there are better places to find that kind of support, to be quite honest. And this is weird. We asked the girls, like, what does it look like to visualize your dream digital world where you are empowered rather than disempowered? Okay, the reality is when it comes to the internet, no one is in power. Unless you're Elon Musk and you own Twitter, Mark Zuckerberg and you own Facebook and Instagram, you don't have power. That's the thing. The internet is nebulous. There are very little, like, you have an enclave in power to a certain extent on your own profile, but you can't even fully control that because Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever can decide one day, oh, you violated our terms and conditions, delete. You don't have power on the internet. That's the first thing you have to learn is that you don't have power. You have influence, but you don't have the power to control what people do or say about you on the internet. You just don't have that. And part of the reality of being on the internet is understanding that. And again, I don't feel like they're actually helping empower these girls because they're like, visualize your dream digital world. There is no such thing. It doesn't exist. Why? Because the internet is the fifth level of hell. I just call Twitter the third level, the internet itself, the fifth, sixth, seventh level of hell. That's what it is. Why? Because it's the deplorability of all of humanity contained within this very nebulous thing that can reach all of us at any point. That's what the internet is. Ergo, the internet is inherently flawed because humanity is inherently flawed and you cannot fix that. And so, in visualizing your dream digital world is stupid, in my opinion, because it never will be reality. And if you don't want to deal with the realities of the internet, get off the internet. Yes, maybe you maybe need to submit forms online. Maybe you need to do a certain things. But if you can't handle social media, get off social media. That's what I feel like none of these people really talk about. Like they want to create this dream or perfect internet, which is really all about censorship and managing and controlling the information rather than giving people the power to actually discern the information for themselves. If you teach people well, they can discern good information and they can eliminate the bad information. That should be what happens here. I speak as somebody who has been on the internet pretty publicly now for going on 3 years. And there are things that are utterly unpleasant, terrible things people say about you, like the level of people digging into things, especially family things, like trying to find my family social media accounts, like personal ones. I'm like, why? I would never do that to you. But the crazy exists online and you just can't control the crazy. I try the best I can. I report a lot and try to see what I can do just to kind of try to stem some of the flow, but I can't contain it wholly. I wish I could. I just can't. I just can't. Why? Because that's the internet. If you can't handle it, delete it. Actually, there was one thing I did a YouTube boot camp when I was initially starting the channel, which I highly regret because it was kind of pointless and I didn't feel like they offered very good help. But one of the things I wanted to say so badly is that one of the things that you need to learn is that if your channel is not thriving, if you can't really make any money off of it, you need to stop. If you can't grow past a certain point, yes, you can keep going on into infinity, but sometimes it's better just to cut your losses and move on. Because I think I actually even came across a video one time of somebody who I think was in the boot camp, and they're like, oh, they're still going at it. And they have, they've grown definitely a bit, but they only have a small number of subscribers. I'm like, at this point, if you've been at it for 10 years and it's not going anywhere, then you just need to stop. You just need to stop. And so May goes on to say as well, there was an amazing girl named Charlie who talked about how she connected with her parents through technology by listening to 80s and 90s music on Spotify and how she channels that into creativity. That's so sweet for Charlie. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That just seems also like, how could you not connect before? Were your parents not listening to some of that music with you? It's like, again, I feel like there's been a disconnect between parents and children. And because of that, these organizations like this spring up because people can't have the relationships they used to. It's super weird. So May says she respects Harry and Meghan's previous work to center the voice of young people in the future of technology. I know a lot of young women who work on their social media because it brings joy and inspiration. Tech isn't going anywhere. It's more like food than a drug because it is a social determinant of public health, economic empowerment, and academic empowerment. No, I would actually say the internet can be a drug. Can 100% be a drug. 100% people can get addicted to the internet. Yes, it brings a lot of good too, but it brings a lot of bad. And so you have to make the choice at some point. How much do you engage? How much do you not? How much can you handle social media? Again, huge question, which I feel like none of these things are answering. And so I just wanted to add as well here. What I found interesting throughout all this is like, all right, Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates, and I could be totally missing this. I will 100% say, guys, I could be totally and completely missing this. But I have been looking for where Melinda and Oprah Winfrey are talking about this, and they're not. But I also want to say, too, this is what philanthropy is. Harry and Meghan want to be philanthropists. Do they have $250 million? I don't even know if they have $25 million. Maybe they only have $2.5 million. I don't know. But Melinda French Gates will give $250 million to women's health groups globally through a new open call. So you can literally apply through an open call to get part of this $250 million. Why? Because Melinda Gates has $250 million that she can spare. Harry and Meghan, I don't think will ever make that much in their lifetimes. I don't think they ever will. And so they can never compete with somebody like Melinda Gates. And then I went to Melinda's Instagram. So there is this interesting thing about working with different women and stuff, women who harness the power of philanthropy in remarkable ways. And who is not on this list? Why, Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle's not on that list.
I didn't see, though, that Melinda Gates had made an Instagram story about it. Now, I always say, and I always think that when it comes to Instagram, what you put on story versus what you put as a post is very telling. So Melinda put on this Instagram story with the article, though, about Meghan. But what I thought was really interesting is that she never mentioned Meghan's name nor Archewell and just said, that's why I'm so excited to support this new national partnership from Girls Inc. and Half the Story, which will help girls learn healthy digital habits, build confidence, and use tech for good. Again, even though she's sharing the story, she never mentions Meghan Markle by name. She never mentions Archewell. And she puts this on story, not on posts, which I always feel like is kind of reflective of someone who's like, okay, I need to maybe respond to this because Meghan's pulling her name into this story. So I'll go ahead and post it on Instagram stories. That way it disappears after 24 hours. If you put it as a post, it's there forever. I mean, obviously you can delete it, but if you put it as a story, it automatically goes away after 24 hours. So again, I feel like this is a little bit of, although they are somewhat working together, there's a distance there too.
So here we have Larissa May. She, of course, is the founder and executive director of Half the Story. And so she does this promo video, and she's clearly wearing the same outfit she and Meghan were in that group photo. And she shares some of the things about being excited about Girls Inc. And so we see this Girls Inc. bit right here. And we see more. And we see more. And we see more. And we see more. And who are we missing, guys? I'll give you one guess. Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle is not in a smidge of that video, and it was filmed on the same day. So I get the sense, although while Meghan's a part of this, I feel like the other people who are a part of it are more cautious about being public about their engagement with it. And Meghan's screaming it to the high heavens because she needs the attention. So Pivotal Ventures, Melinda Gates Foundation. And so to date, Melinda has given $2 billion to expand women's power and influence. Again, I feel like the roadblocks are not really there anymore. I feel like you're trying to make fetch happen. Like some people are trying to put women back into the 1950s. Women can do anything. It's just, I think too, the reality is women tend to like and go for certain jobs and careers, and men like to go for certain jobs and careers because men and women are different. And I feel like sometimes these initiatives are trying to make women into men and men into women. I'm like, let's just stop doing that. And so there are resources download, latest from Pivotals. Let's see all in case I missed something. But what do we not have here, as far as I'm aware, that we can see? Why, it's any talk of Archwell. Any talk of Archwell. And it didn't seem to be much from the Oprah side either. Impact stories, although this is written a little bit differently than what I would prefer in some ways, because I like want like more of like what the most recent thing is or something. Like news flashes and stuff. Oftentimes they do news reactions and tell you what things are going on, like Harry and Meghan do, but in a different way. All right. So we went through all that. Great fun, I guess you could say. But how do we want to end this? Because there are a lot of disparate things here. We have kind of the dismissal of Archie. He just doesn't seem to matter that much in Meghan's world. We have the exploitation of young girls to suit Meghan Markle's own agenda. We have the continuing advocacy for online censorship. And we have a foundation where, although Harry and Meghan are contributing in some way, we obviously know they are the really, really small, itty bitty tiny fish and the huge, massive pond that is Melinda Gates and Oprah Winfrey. Like, if it was fish, Melinda and Oprah would be great whites and Meghan Markle would be the minnow. So we have this huge, massive discrepancy between all these pieces and everything. And so, what is sort of going on here with Meghan is Meghan obviously needs to soften her image. And children can do that. And she can, at the same time, too, because it's about online censorship, she can claim bullying because I'm sure the bullying reports against her, she considers itself to be bullying. That's not how things work. They're sharing a story about you where you are criticized, and that's kind of life. But Meghan cannot deal with her failures. She just can't. She just can't. And so she is trying desperately to grasp the things. And the one thing I want to say to Meghan, if I could, or one piece of advice I would give her is stop going through and doing all this nonsense because it's not really going to help you at the end of the day. What you need to do is work. You need to actually work. Get American Riviera Orchard off the ground. This is just a distraction. You desperately need the money to keep flowing in. You desperately need the success. And honestly, this initiative is like 12 others we've heard from you from time and time again that you'll make a big fuss of for 5 seconds and then we'll never hear about it again. And Harry and Meghan, I don't think, are great at publicizing what they do in some ways. Some ways they are, some ways they aren't. And maybe some of that comes down to how much Harry and Meghan can exploit the situation. Like, I know there's some things they're a part of that we don't hear much about. And I'm sure although they're contributing minimally to those situations, I think in part why we don't hear about it is because they can't exploit the people who are part of it. They can't make it into a story. She's making this into a story purely because she needs a positive story about herself. That's it. That's it. She might really care about the initiative, but I don't really think she does. She cares about it and how it reflects on herself and Lily. Because Lily definitely, I would argue, in my personal opinion, is the star of the home. She's going to be the one Meghan focuses and pushes all her energy onto. Archie just seems to be forgotten in the mix. I mean, Harry even wore a girl dad shirt that one time, even though he has a son and a daughter. You can't be a girl dad unless you have actually just daughters, Harry. I don't know if you knew that or not. But Harry and Meghan have so many problems here. And Meghan Markle especially is considered the toxic element. And what she could do to actually turn things around is actually get American Riviera Orchard off on a great foot, produce great products that people love and enjoy. And I think things might turn for her. Again, this meaningless distractions is not going to help her. This is why they can't get things accomplished. This is why they're failing, is because they put out these distractions to themselves because they can't seem to deal with the reality of their failures. And so they're like, oh, look at this shiny object over here. Look at over here, over here, over here. Don't look at the bullying allegations over here. I'm the bullied one. I'm the bully. That's just so Meghan. And until she kind of realizes that that stuff at the end of the day is not going to help her, that really nobody cares about these initiatives and they'll be forgotten in 5 seconds because most likely you'll forget them too. You just need to focus on actually making money the right way, not, obviously being deplorable to your husband's family and calling them all sorts of names, but actually doing an honest day's work And then when you make all this money, then you can go back in and do these philanthropic things. She's doing it backwards. She's trying to do the philanthropy without the cash to back it up. At some point, she's just not going to be able to pay some things because she can't. She just simply can't. And so Meghan Markle sets herself up for failure constantly. And it's sad, but people are watching her not because they want to watch her succeed, but because they want to watch her fail. And I feel like she sort of builds her own failure every single day by doing the thing she shouldn't be doing in a given situation, by making the wrong decision. And this, I'm sorry, is the wrong decision here. Sure, help them donate the money. Don't make a big fuss about it. Just be a silent partner, because most likely between Melinda and Oprah Winfrey, you probably are the silent partner. So just be the silent partner and move on. And then once you have an actual successful business, then you can go back and make this a key part of what you do. You can't do that now because you don't really have the money to back it up. And you're too, I think, self-absorbed to really make a decent impact. So guys, let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of all the crazy Meghan stuff. I would love to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you soon. Bye.